For years now, cruises were seen as luxury holidays for a select few. Now today, that story is changing. More Indians are choosing cruises, booking online and exploring shorter international sailings. Well, on this edition of Big Business Bet, WION's Kanishka Sarkar gets in conversation with the co-founder of Into Cruises for a deep dive into the sector. Listen in.
India's cruise industry is entering a new phase. From young travelers, shorter holidays to digital fare bookings, cruising is becoming more mainstream. To understand this shift, I have with me Akansha Agarwal and Veenu Vijay, the co-founders of Into Cruises, on this edition of Big Business Bet.
Was like treated as one of, once in a lifetime kind of an experience. But now, as consumers are, getting more aware about the experiences, and they want to have those experiences instead of the sightseeing. So their whole behavior towards tourism is changing. They're traveling for concerts, they're traveling for sports. They want to see those natural phenomena which are occurring, and cruising is part of that. Plus, cruising is very convenient because you just pack once and then you're traveling across the country and you're visiting more than 4 destinations in a 7-nighter.
India is a market where it's a very late market. So people just plan for their cruises or for any holidays like within 90 days or 60 days of time period. So obviously the demand and for that the supply is always is a concern. But again, like considering the short haul sailing, that is the most easiest destination which they can prefer to reach out. And most of the cruisers, it's like first time cruisers. So for them, it's always preferred to take a short term cruiser so that they can have that experience and then they can plan for a long haul sailing.
Entire hospitality industry, for that matter, serves on a dynamic pricing. Now, to help our Indian consumers, what we have done proactively is that we work on a lot of pre-purchase inventory, so that we've purchased the inventory in advance and we can control the pricing, and it's static then for the customers to pass on that benefit to the customers. Plus, we've also recently started on the price drop mechanism. So what happens is that, if the occupancy rate of a cruise line is not 80%, then the prices drop for those kind of sailings. And we have started that on our site, that we are showing you those pricing which are leaving in next 30 days or 15 days, 45 days. Customers can come on the site, they can, set their trackers for whatever sailing they want to, and they will get regular alerts on it. And whenever they feel that now is the right time to book, so on the last minute bookings also, they don't have to pay, a lot of pricing on it. Since there was a lot of restrictions and the external factors were involved, hence our Europe numbers got affected. In the entire destination mix, 75% is what we did Singapore, and 15% only was catering to Europe. So people then chosen on to the short haul destinations for traveling because it was easier. They were not having any, fear in their minds as well. Plus visas were also very easy to get.
Already a lot of OTA players are already there, and there are flights, hotels. That's what their expertise is. And what we are doing is we are putting cruise as the main product, and everything else will be in and around cruises will be connected to it. So earlier, cruise was a part which is added to the itinerary for the passengers, but now cruise will be the main itinerary, and based on that, their flights, hotels, and everything is getting tagged. So that was the gap which we wanted to fill in.
The biggest misinformation or say lack of information that people have these days is they think that cruising is very expensive when it comes to land versus cruise as an experience. But if you go on any international destination, book a 4-star hotel, you will have to shell out around about 20,000 per person per night types. Plus you'll have to, add on your meals and transfers. But whereas on a cruising, it's $500 per person for 3 nights, where everything is included and bundled in that rate, which is entertainment, activities, and meals. So this is like 50,000 for 3 nights, whereas that's like 75,000 and plus. So that's the biggest misinformation.
Especially in India market, the departures from India, that is something which is not there. So based on that, like for that, Indian government is also doing a lot of infrastructure development under the Bharat Cruise mission, wherein they are developing a lot of ports, and then they are developing the visas and other services in and around to it. But once that is also there in the market, so obviously people will start traveling out from India, wherein if sailing starting from India goes to an international country, that is more growth perspective, but rather having just the domestic cruises alone. So that is something which is still holding.
Until and unless the number of ships start increasing in the Indian coastline, the number will not increase exponentially, because you have to travel to our nearest destination for that and the expenses increases. Whereas if you get that kind of experience within India, so the experience is there, you only have to pay for that kind of an experience. You don't have to, add on a flight or a visa charge to it. We know that the disposable income of the, community is increasing, Indians are increasing. Plus, from tier 1, the demand used to be huge. Now tier 2 is also catching up. So there is a lot of demand there. Plus the number of ships that were there earlier, every year you're seeing more than, 4 or 5 ships are adding on to the global fleet. So you have more berths to it. Plus your air carriers are increasing, so space is there. However, when it comes to more to say about the political and the geopolitical conditions, they cause major dent and the demand really sort of fluctuates based on that. Plus the visa hassle. So visa needs to be more sort of fine-tuned so that's more convenient. So 3.72 crore are the global volume cruise passengers. In that, if you see, then Asia is contributing around about 1.6 crore and Asia is contributing 30 lakhs and Asia per se is 6 lakhs. India per se is 6 lakhs, which is like 20% of Asia demand. And Asia right now is driving the growth in the cruise industry, where India is contributing 20% of it. So demand is there. Demand is huge. Now it's just about getting the infrastructure in place and getting those ships in India so that we are able to grow our cruise tourism.